was Chag? Good. All right, let's begin. Baruch Hashem. So, we are starting. Come on in. Okay, one morning, in his office, rather than hooking his lie detector to a person, he attached the electrodes to the palm-like leaves of a plant. He put the lie detector on a plant. His initial printout from the plant matched similar ones he had recorded when testing people at rest. Okay, when he tested people at rest with no questions or anything that brought up their blood sugar or anything that made them worried or scared or whatever, just at rest, looked the same as the plant when it was at rest. He knew an individual under stress, frightened, or agitated would cause changes in the meter readings of the polygraph. Could he produce a similar response from plants? He proceeded to water the plant to see if there was a measurable impact on the polygraph. There was no significant difference. Perhaps the analogy he hoped to demonstrate had no basis, he thought. However, he decided to escalate the experiment and participate stress by introducing a hot cup of coffee and dipping the leaves of the plant into the scalding liquid. Again, the reading did not register any significant change. Listen to this. Listen to this. So he takes He takes the plant, he puts it in hot boiling water thinking it would have a reaction because it's alive. Nothing. He put it in hot boiling water, nothing. He fantasized about what act he could perform to trigger a response in the plant if that was indeed possible. He considered finding matches and actually burning the leaves. As he rose from his chair to go get his matches, to execute his idea, he noticed the readout on the polygraph moving frantically. In subsequent experiments, he demonstrated repeatedly that his violent visualizations affected the foliage and the plant life around him. We can conclude from these studies that all living things communicate with each other through intelligence or morphogenic fields. The implications are staggering. What each of us learns has the potential of becoming a message of all humankind and perhaps to all other life forms as well. Each life has profound significance. Basically, this man that wrote this book had a very, very, very sick child, with a very autistic child to the extreme. Have you ever seen a very autistic sick child or person? They're very, very handicapped. Okay, they can't talk, they can't walk, they can't do anything. They're very, very handicapped. He, through the teachings in this book, which this book is like a #1 bestseller, I really, really recommend it. Through the teachings in this book, basically what he did is that he healed his son all the way back to being a normal person that's normal, healthy, married, runs a business today, no longer autistic, without any medication. He also adopted kids that came from like the slums that saw the most amount of abuse, drugs, sexual abuse, whatever they went through, and he nurtured them back to life, and they're like healthy parts of society today. And he describes and he explains in this book what happens there. And he says that #1, this is something that we have to understand and we have to know, and this is the basis of Tomer Devorah. #1, you don't have to execute your thoughts in order for you to have a vibe. You know what your vibe is? What's your vibe? What is that short for?
Energy. Vibration.
Your vibration. Your vibe is your vibration. Someone could walk into a room and everybody looks at them, not because they're so gorgeous, because they have an energy about them. Because there's something about them that pulls people's attention towards them. So what we're learning is like this. A person can, the thoughts that you think alone, forget about your actions. The thoughts, actions even more so, but the thoughts that you think alone, he thought in his brain, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to burn these plant leaves. I'm going to burn them and see if the readout on the polygraph is different. Before he even got up to get the matches, the polygraph started to go crazy because the energy that he put out, the frequency that comes out from our thought patterns, our thinking. If you think to yourself, I hate myself, I'm such a this, I'm such a that, you don't realize that it's putting out electrical currents around you and everyone picks up on it whether they realize it or not. It's all subconscious. You could have someone that's not so pretty, that's not so smart, that's not so talented, that she thinks of herself in a healthy way, not in an unhealthy way, not in an egotistical, narcissistic way, but in a healthy way. I am good. I am valuable. I deserve to be cared about. I care about myself. It matters what I put into my body. It matters the amount of chemicals and garbage and crap that I put into my body. It matters. I matter. And when a person thinks that way about themselves and treats themselves that way, the electrical currents that they put out around them, and you wonder why they have so many people around them that love being around them in their space. Because what they're emanating, bottom line, is love. Is love. What that means is that how he cured his son from autism was with an insane amount. What they did basically, him and his wife, after they tried all the tests and all that and everything was just darkness and uphill battle and nothing working and hospitals and drugs and nothing was helping, they decided to just follow his lead. He sat on the floor and went like this. They sat on the floor and went like this. He sat on the floor and went like this. Because that's what they do. They went exactly what he did, they did. They never judged him. They never thought less of him. They never said, oh my God, he's such an whatever, annoyance. He's so sick. He's so different. He's such an embarrassment. Why can't he get it right already? Never one judgmental thought about this child. The child healed. And there's no healing from autism in today's day and age. There's no such thing as a cure for that level of autism. There's drugs, there's putting them in closed, insane asylums, there's locking them up. There's no cure to send them into the world and have them get married and have a business, having a functional life. There's no such thing. What cures this child is acceptance and love. Period. What you do, even if it's retarded, we love you, we don't judge you. And just with the electrical currents that came out of them, the way they saw him, the way they viewed him, the way they treated him, all of that electrical magnetic field around them of love and acceptance healed him. What happens, what we see over and over and over again, is that what a person thinks and what a person, the language that they have within themselves, the language that's going on in here, the dialogue that's going on in here for you. I don't matter. I'll eat whatever. I'll sleep where, however, I'll be with people that make me feel small because I feel like, good around them because of my trauma and whatever. These are the kind of people that I run after and try to get them to like me and try to get them to give me attention. That takes away, pulls apart the person. It pulls apart the person. Then the person becomes more of a magnet for dysfunctional, unhappy people to walk into their lives and use them and abuse them and then throw them away. What we're learning here is something very, 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 very powerful. What we're learning here is that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to get anywhere yet. You start by building the magic in your mind, by choosing the thoughts that you're going to have today about yourself, and you're going to fake it till you make it, because that's how it works. You fake it till it becomes real. Till you feel it in every cell in your body. And what happens as a reaction to that, what happens as a result of that, is that naturally you will feel better, look better, act better, focus better. All of your senses become alive. When the dark energies of shame and guilt and not liking ourselves, when they all move away, because they're real. They're as real as this desk. They're as real as me and you. They are so real. We just don't see them. We just don't see them. And it's exactly what happened here in this example. And there's science backs this up so much. I can bring you tons of science research on this idea that your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create how you feel. Your thoughts create your future. You don't have to do so much in this physical world to make things happen in your life. You become the magnet by becoming the person that is full inside of acceptance and reassurance and love and being your own best friend and caring about yourself honestly. That sends waves. That sends waves. You have an electrical magnetic field around you. That's also. Science brings up that a person has kind of like an aura around them. That there's a machine today that's been around for a long time that you can hook up. I'm going to answer you in a minute. That you can hook a person up to this machine, and you can literally see through the screen on the computer. You can see their aura. The brute did this, and it's incredible. They took the machine, they connected it to somebody before he put on tefillin, and his aura. They put on the screen. You see that his aura is green, and then after he put on the tefillin, his aura turned white. That's a higher level of energy. White is the highest kind of aura a person can have, which means energy, which means like plugging yourself into the electrical current and getting energy from that. When a person lives in a world that's only physical and everything, it's only if I see it and only if I touch it, that this person is missing so much information in their life. We're not growing up in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s where information was limited. We're growing up in a time where science backs up this idea that everything in your life, all success, all goodness, all friendship, all relationship, all health, physical health, and well-being stems from the mind. The mind, and how the mind decides to think, which thoughts you choose to have. And I always teach this in my breakthrough courses. We're going to learn this after we finish Tomer Devorah. But basically, what you choose, almost like you go to a wedding and you choose by the smorgasbord. No, I want toast, and I want fish, and I want salad. I don't want that and that and that. That doesn't talk to me. That doesn't speak to me. That's exactly how you have to pick your thoughts. Thoughts are dynamite. They will make the difference between your success, your failure, your amazing report card and your poor report card, your amazing relationships and your poor relationships. They will make the difference between your self-esteem, being in a good place or in an unhealthy place. You choose which thoughts you want to have. And the choice is incredible because you cannot have two thoughts at the same time, period. You all of a sudden get full of anxiety, full of stress, full of whatever, like, oh my God, like you feel like you're having a panic attack. Start thinking about rainbows, butterflies, what else do I think about? Marshmallows, I think about the randomest things. I don't think of another thought like, okay, I'm going to think about the base of Mikdash right now. No. I think of like unicorns flying through the sky. Ridiculous things that don't exist. It's okay because you can't have the two thoughts at the same time. So once I replace that scary thought with a butterfly, I'm not thinking that thought anymore. That thought's electrical current goes down. This plant started stressing out when the guy started thinking of burning him. Because it's all energy. It's all energy. And the reason why now, today, in the generation that we're living in, we get so scared, tons of anxiety, tons of depression, tons of people like killing themselves, committing suicide, lots of drugs, lots of addictions, lots of dark. Why do people get so sucked into the dark? Why does it go so straight into the dark? Because the energy, the energy collectively in the world, there's a lot of darkness in the world. There are a lot of evil people in the world. There's a lot of bad in the world, but there's also a lot of really kind, caring, loving, amazing, creative leaders in the world. Amazing people that do so many good things that we don't even know about. They're sending ripple effects of energy into the world. So depending on what you think most of the time, that's the kind of energy you're going to connect to. Because like attracts like, always. You will always be more connected to what you're thinking, entertaining, doing. Like attracts like. You will always attract what you are. Which means why do people go to Israel for 10 months and all of a sudden they come back and they're flipped out? What happens to them here? Nothing. What do you do here? Whatever. You sit in classes. It's not like you're like in some transformative like shuttle and it takes you up to the moon and like you go, no, but they go back afterwards and they're different. All of a sudden they go to Manhattan and all of a sudden they're like, I remember when I came back from seminary, Shana Bet, or I would go to camp and I would come back from camp and we would drive through the city and the billboards and the non-sneas. I was so sensitive to it. Where before I wasn't so sensitive to it because that wasn't in my magnetic field for a long time. And what was in my magnetic field for a long time was learning, knowledge, becoming expansive, working on different things that I became aware of, loving myself, self-talk, a better self-talk, a higher level self-talk, showing up on time because I want to be good for myself, because that makes me into a better person, making my bed because that makes me into a better person. It's not the act of making your bed, it's that what it does to you on a subconscious level. So then all of a sudden you become like this thing, and then you all of a sudden you're back in the place where you were before, and you see the difference, and it's so big. The difference is so, whoa, it's in your face. You don't like the conversations, or you don't know what to, because you have had 10 months of creating a different energy field around you. with the experiences, with the prayers, with the holy places that you went through, with the leaders that you met, with the teachers that you met, with the learning that you did. It's different. And all of a sudden you go back to the same, and you're like, I don't know, I don't feel it. I don't feel it the same way I did, or it bothers me where before it didn't bother me, or whatever it is. All right? Because that's how we change, and that's how we evolve. So wait, questions? Yes?
It's not necessarily a question, but someone once told me that when you see in others that bothers you or that is positive in another person, first look at yourself before you look at someone else. Let's say someone gets angry quickly, you'll see it in a lot of people. Would that mean that you have to work on that aspect? Let's say something bothers another person. Let's say this person is so loud. Would that mean that you have to look at yourself and maybe you are that person?
Okay, so the Baal Shem Tov says like this. The Baal Shem Tov says that if you look at somebody that's like, excuse me, that was mine, get off my bed, do not touch my stuff, and you just put her on mute, and you see her like that, and in your mind you're like, ugh, okay? Then, if that's the reaction that comes out of you, you have to know that you have a shemetz minehu. You have a piece of what you just saw in her that you cannot stand, and that's disgusting to you. You have a piece of that in you, and that's why you see it as gross. But if you see somebody getting out of their car and screaming, and you look at him and you're like, Nebuch, poor guy. He must have a really tough life. So bad for him. If what comes out of you, if that's your initial reaction, Baal Shem Tov says, you don't have a piece of that inside of you. You don't have what you see in the other person in you. Only if the reaction that you have towards it is ew, or I hate her, or whatever, it's bad, it's a negative reaction to what you see, then you have to know you have a chunk of that. You have a piece of what you're seeing in the other person that you don't like in you.
What if it's this person is so relaxed, chill out? Is that negative?
If the reaction that comes out of you is I don't like it, or ew, or I hate that person, or whatever, then you have to know that that's something that you're dealing with also. Can you fake your energy?
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know, it's not, it's acting, I don't know, she'll be in a bad mood all the time. Would you attract to you what kind of energy?
If you are...
If you're faking...
Okay. Yeah.
What kind of energy?
Okay, so you're going to always attract what you are. Okay? But wait, you're always going to attract what you are. So that means if what you are honestly, subconsciously, is life sucks, is I'm never successful, I never do well, I never have friends, I don't know what to do with my time, nobody likes me, I hate, girls that are XYZ, or I need him in order to feel good about myself. I need, if those are the mantras that are going on underneath, and on the outside you're like, Baruch Hashem, God, going to the Kotel, Chalav Yisrael, good Shabbos. If that's who you are on the outside, you will attract, the mirror that you're going to get is what you are here. And what I'm saying here is, if that's your truth, if that's what you hold as your truth, it's true. I don't know how to have friends. My track record is this way. If that's your truth, that's going to mirror in your life. Now, that doesn't mean that it's over. It means I've been working with certain dark things that I've had inside of me for years. I've been carrying this with me, years. And I'll tell you what, today I don't have those things anymore. They changed, they shifted, because I did the work of, I feel so stupid. I feel so stupid. I'm faking it. I'm literally faking it. Because you have to know that the fire you give to those emotions that you have inside, you feed them with more negative thinking. You see? It's true. They didn't call me. They all went to Froyo and then no one called me. It's evidence that I don't know how to. And it's all going on a subconscious level. And just so you know, on a cellular level, it's making you sick. It's taking down your immune system. Negative thinking takes down your immune system. It opens the door to sickness and unhealth. And all of a sudden I don't feel well, all of a sudden my bones hurt, all of a sudden I can't get out of bed, all of a sudden I have the flu. Why? Because the way we think it has an impact on our body. It's psychosomatic. So that means that you have to know that feeding those thoughts with more fire makes them stronger, makes them into beliefs. Thoughts on repeat, if you think a thought 40 times, it turns into a belief. Okay? It's true. And a belief is true in a person's head. Like sometimes when you'll have kids, you'll see this happen, that your kids are gonna like believe certain things about themselves, and you're like, but it's like not, like you're not like that. Like you're not. If you were, I promise you, I would tell you. I promise you, you're not like that. They believe that they're the least coolest kids in the class. They believe that you're not. Why? Because on repeat, they had the thought of, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to be good at sports, I need to have the best answer, come back all the time, I need to be cool, I need to, in order for me to be, and it's not true. So over and over and over and over and over again, they have a thought, and this thought turns into a belief. Your belief system is based on lots and lots of thoughts that are, most of the time, are not true about yourself. What I can do, what I can't do, what's possible for me, what's not possible for me. Who said? Your thoughts. That's who said. So much for your water bottle. Where are you? I love you anyway because you cared. You cared. So here's the story. You understand the answer? The answer is, if you start thinking, I don't care what the thoughts tell me. את מרימה לעצמך. כל הזמן. Even if you feel like you're faking it. You just keep tooting your own horn. Where I did do good. Where I am awesome. Where I am a giver, a lover of humanity. Where I am a nurturer. Where I do care. Where I'm not faking it. Where I am honest. Ima? Ken, you're not lying. We think we're lying when we tell ourselves good things about ourselves. We're not lying. There's good and bad, just like in every person. But the more I'm able to focus on the good, the more it grows, because whatever you focus on grows, whatever you focus on expands, whatever you focus on takes up much more space in your life. If you focus on a bad relationship in your life and why he said that and why he didn't call and why he this and why he that, it's going to take up a lot of space in your subconscious and your conscious and your emotional field. Okay? If you now don't give it energy, if you don't give it thoughts, you're not feeding it. When you stop feeding the monster, it stops to grow. So your thoughts feed the fire. What fire are you feeding? The fire of I'm not good enough? The fire of, look, the proof is in the pudding. Look, it's always been this way. I've always been this way. My family, my mother, because I was abused, because of that. That's the fire you're feeding. What's the fire you're feeding? Or are you choosing with every ounce of energy that you have to focus in on your strengths, because you didn't make you. You didn't create yourself. You had nothing to do with it. God created you, just like God created that tree outside. I'm not gonna go bad-mouthing that tree now, because he's not like all the other trees, because he's not as tall, and because he's not as green, and because he doesn't have as many branches as the tree next to him. He's his own creation. He's his own awesome creation. And I'm going to look for the good of this creation. I'm not going to compare it to the next creation, because we don't need lookalikes. We need everyone to be their own unique person. And the more I'm focused on how unique I am and what I am amazing at, and what God did create in this thing, the more the overall organism is going to grow and flourish and be healthy and be strong. Yeah? We got it? Yes. Let's do.
Your belief is that you're not a patient person. Would it be more effective to think like I am a patient person, or just like not focus on that aspect?
Nothing negative about yourself. I'm going to look for evidence in my life where I was patient. Because I want you to know that patience with people, especially yourself, is the highest form of love. Highest. When you have patience with yourself and patience with your own growth, and you're still your own cheerleader, and you get it that even if you screwed up, it's okay, because it's part of growth, and you're patient with yourself, that's the highest level of love. And that's what he discusses here. They were so patient with their son that he literally healed his way back to normalcy. The cells in his body, because we know that our cells regenerate. Your whole skeletal system and your cellular system regenerates between 3 months to a year. By the end of a year, your whole organism is different than it was a year ago. You have new skin cells, you have new cells in your body, you have new organs. Your organs have regenerated new cells. Your skeletal system, it's a new skeletal system. Which means that all of the physical aspects of yourself get impacted very, 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 very much by your mind. So, and your mind gets impacted by your physical body very much. So if you think to yourself, okay, I have work to do in this and this and this and this area, let's say patience, So every time I am patient, I will give myself a pat on the back and I will celebrate it. Because all of a sudden your mind's going to notice that, oh, I get good feedback for this, so I'm going to do more of this. And all of a sudden it comes naturally, much more naturally. It's not climbing up a hill. It just comes much more naturally. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm just more patient now. Yeah.
How would you know? This doesn't really have so much to do with what you said, but how would you know if like you're pushing off your emotions and distracting them by work? Like a lot of people tend to like work instead of deal with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
How would you know if you're doing that?
Do you know what your emotions feel like? When you have emotions, you know what they feel like? In your body?
Yeah.
You know what they feel like? Like when you feel like you just want to like run out of a room, or you can't be there, or you feel really, really stressed out when you're sitting with someone, like your stomach is churning.
Yeah, you can feel that.
You can feel it, right? Where you feel like you don't have a good feeling, like someone's slimy. You don't know what about him is slimy. You don't know what it is, but there's an energy about him that's slimy. People that are involved in bad things, that hurt people, whatever, if you're sensitive enough, it doesn't take that much. You just have to become aware of it. You'll sense it right away. That's their energy field. So your emotions that you have around things, you need to realize one thing. Emotions are like children. If you don't pay attention to them, they just get louder. And when you don't pay attention to them for a while, they turn into physical ailments. Stomach aches, ulcers, back problems. So emotions are like children. If you don't listen to them, they're just going to get louder. That means you have to be very, very honest and say, these are my emotions about this thing. These are my emotions about this scenario. You have to let the emotions out. You have to give them a stage. You have to give them a platform. You have to allow them to speak. Okay, even if it's just you listening. This is how I feel about it. I know it's not really holy, religious. It's really not so beautiful, but it's just the way I feel about it. And once you let them listen to me until I'm finished, and then you'll have your question, because I see you're already thinking about what you want to ask. Listen, once you make space for these emotions to go, they will go. Like you let balloons go, they will go. And then you're free from the emotional energy to rethink how you want to how do you want to approach the situation.
Okay, but like when let's say when you deal with emotions and you let them out and whatever, you have a session with yourself, let's just say, and then you say it's like whatever, like this happens to everyone, it's fine, you'll be fine, like just get over it. It's just a little bit of time period. Like is that dealing with it, or is that just saying this?
That doesn't sound like kindness to me. If you're not kind to yourself, it will just backfire. It will backfire. You won't be kind to other people. You'll learn to be just like all the other adults. You guys were born in a great time. I'll tell you why. Because you were born at a time where people talk about these things and it's already looked down upon to stuff your emotions. So people that stuff their emotions are so like whatever. It's like old. Do you know? That's like the old way. That's like the generation after the Holocaust way. We don't talk about our problems. We don't talk about the way we feel. We don't cry. You don't cry. You're a boy. Don't cry. You're so supposed to be strong.
You cry, but like you don't. Maybe you don't talk about it so much. Is that okay?
Probably better to talk about the way you feel. Okay, not to give it so much energy, which means that like just because you feel it doesn't mean that it's true. Just because we feel things. Don't mean that it's true. Our emotions lie to us all the time. It doesn't mean that we have to stuff them. We shouldn't stuff them because we still have them. We have to listen to them. We have to say what we are feeling. We have to say what's bothering us. We have to say what the emotion is. But we don't have to believe them necessarily. It's not true that just because they rejected you, that you're a reject. It's not true that just because you don't fit into the average, size of what everyone thinks is considered like, the way to look, that you're not gorgeous and beautiful. Just because you feel doesn't mean that it's true. But you do have to let your emotions out because otherwise you get sick. That's the truth. People get diabetes, people get really hardcore autoimmune diseases, because autoimmune disease is basically when the body attacks itself. Right? When the body says, "Oh, look, there's a liver," because that's why it's a disease. Because it's not supposed to attack the body. It's supposed to. Your whole number one is self-preservation, is survival. All of a sudden, your own body, God forbid, a person's own body says, "Oh, look, liver, let's attack it. Oh, look, pancreas, let's attack it," and that's diabetes. body starts taking all the white blood cells, all its soldiers, and attacks itself. That's what happens to people that attack themselves all the time. That's what happens to people that were attacked when they were kids, and they continue attacking themselves as adults. And this and that, illness. If we starting off the year, we start off on the right foot. It's not on your shoulders to finish anything you start. Don't start with me with the New Year's resolutions. I don't believe in any of that stuff. We're people, and we're just a process. We're in a process of growth and involvement. All you have to think about right now is faking it till you make it. Which means, number one, and keep it simple. You know the KISS, K-I-S-S? Keep it simple, stupid? Keep it simple, stupid. Okay, let's just keep things simple. Let's not stop philosophizing about, just keep it simple. Practical steps, how to do it. How to make myself move from point A to point B to point C to point D to move. Not to stay stuck in my feelings, in my downness, in my depression, in my anxiety, in my negative thinking. Move, get out. That's growth. And the way that happens is by understanding that every single one of your thoughts is a bomb of explosive energy. And when you think the thoughts that you choose to have, instead of thinking, I'm broke, everyone has money and I'm broke, I can't even afford that, I can't go here, I can't do this, I can't buy clothes, if you want to continue being broke, keep thinking how much you're broke. If you want to have shefa, abundance in your life, you start focusing on all the goodness and all the abundance that you have in your life. I have free blood flowing through my brain, my veins. I have tons of blood. Focus your mind on all the abundance and you will see so much abundance coming in. So much abundance coming in. That's how it works. What you focus on grows. If you focus on what is, you will get more of what is. If you focus on what you want, focus on where that's already happening in your life. Where you are already patient. Where you are already giving. Where you are already like feeling good and happy and healthy and strong. Focus on that. And that's why they're saying thank you Hashem all the time. Thank you Hashem that my eyes work. Thank you Hashem that I have vision. Thank you Hashem that I have a roof over my head, that I was able to take a shower this morning. Thank you God that I'm able to teach, to learn, that I'm not in the hospital but God forbid sick. Thank you God. The more you're able to say thank you, the more you open the windows for abundance. Abundance will come in all forms, and all of a sudden you will have money. And all of a sudden you will have friends. And all of a sudden you will have success in learning and all the things that you're doing. Because you're opening the channels to abundance. You have to know it all starts off on the spiritual. Okay, and they call it, what do they call it? Electromagnetic. They call it all these different types of fields. It's all spiritual. It's all, you can't touch it, you can't see it, you can't measure it under a microscope, but it's there. And it's so there, it actually is what's making the music flow in your life. Yes. Tell me your name. Leora.
How do you know the line between something that's actually a negative trait about yourself or something that you think is like a negative trait about yourself? Like,
Doesn't matter. If you think it, then it is.
no, but like, how do you know the line between like knowing this the negative trait about yourself or just looking down on yourself?
Give me an. Be honest. It's okay. We all do what you're about to say anyway.
Like, like treating people. Like, what if you think that you might not treat people so well, but like you don't. Like, what if you think that you're overthinking?
You will always treat people the way you treat yourself. You will always judge people the way you judge yourself. You will always come at people the way you come at yourself. If you're a lack of patience with yourself, oh, why didn't I get there? Why didn't I do it? Why did I miss the bus? I'm such an idiot. That's how you will treat others. Whether you realize it or not, it's in your magnetic field. Even if you're like, hi, good morning, how are you? How was your weekend? In your magnetic field, they walk away feeling a little judged. Because you emanate what you are. Period. That's why it says, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You can't love anyone unless you love yourself. Period. You can't really love. If you're patient with yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, I just royally screwed up. Like, not stomp screwed up. Like, royally screwed up. And you're patient with that. And you're like, it's okay. And you're loving toward yourself in that moment. Even though you made a mistake and you're going to have to pay for it. That's the kind of energy you're going to come at the world. And you're going to start healing everyone that you're going to be in touch with. And you're going to come in contact with because you're already healing yourself. And you're going to feel a difference inside. immediately. You don't have to try so hard on the outside. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to manipulate life on the outside in order to have it work. You have to, it all starts here. You are the nucleus of your life. The more you invest in yourself, the more you make deposits into yourself, the more you're patient with yourself and you love yourself and you care about things that come into your body and what you eat and how you sleep, and you care about you giving and you praying, and you care about showing up on time, and you care about keeping your word, and you care about this organism over here, the better it's going to function and act out there. The more successful it will be out there. How many people do we know that are successful, but they're wretched people? They have money, but they die alone. There's no one by their bed. There's no one that cares about how they're feeling, what they're wishing, their dreams, their desires, their flaws, their insecurities. Nobody wants to hear. Because they're wretched people. Why? What makes them wretched people? Their internal dialogue and the way they act towards themselves and treat themselves. Even on the outside, they're driving a BMW or Porsche, and they look like they have it all together. That doesn't matter. It's how they react to their mistakes, how they react to their own, to the things that frustrate them. It's how they react to themselves that's going to determine everything on the outside for them. You could have people with a lot of money, but they have no love life, and their kids don't want to talk to them because they became so aggressive in that area, and they become so cutthroat in that area because that's how they are with themselves. Love heals everything. Love is the name of the game. Yes. I don't hear you. Maybe it's because I have this on. When you're with someone and you feel their vibe, trust yourself if you feel that. 100% trust it. No, it's real. You don't have to say, okay, what's he doing that's creepy? No, but you have to go with your gut. It's not in your head. If you feel it, it's your intuition. And your intuition is never ever wrong. If you feel it with this person, don't justify it with your mind. Go with your gut. Always go with your gut.
I kind of feel like some emotions are, I want to say, like, given to us for, like, reasons of survival. Like, what's called, think about, like, cavemen. Like, anger. If someone was about to, like, burst in and, like, try to, like, steal their stuff, like, angry, that would protect them. Or, like, if you get, like, a bad feeling, like, okay, someone's, like, you know how if you feel like you're in danger, you don't have to necessarily see it.
100%.
Coming. And then you take off. Like,
100%.
that's negative thoughts, but they serve a purpose.
Right.
To protect you.
Yes. Yes. They're not negative, they're realistic. They're real. Negative thinking is, this is not going to work out. It's not going to happen. Why always me? I was traumatized and I was hurt, and now I'm not going to have to either be with someone that is also traumatized, or I'm going to have to, my whole life is just going to look this way. I'm always going to deal with low self-esteem issues. That is digging yourself a grave. Rabbi Nachman says, levaker bikoret, which means criticism. The shorish of criticism in Hebrew, bikoret, is kever. The more you criticize them yourself or other people, the more you bury them alive. Criticism equals grave. Even if it's true. But it's true, I did screw up. It doesn't matter. The act of criticizing yourself will make you worse. It will make you now depressed, anxious, anxiety attacks, self-esteem. That's what's going to happen as a result of the criticism, not of the part that you screwed up. Levaker, bikoret, kever. That's the shorish there. Yes.
Isn't it sometimes possible for people to, like, misinterpret the vibe? Like, someone could think that I'm judging them, but, like, in reality, I'm just, like...
That's their vibe, though. That's their negative thinking. That's their negative thinking.
But meaning if you see, like, it's feelings about something, like, it's, like, you're delusional. So not yourself, not the other person.
So if you feel strongly that this person is like creepy, like freaky, like he has intentions, go with it. Okay, but let's say, for example, you're misconstruing the way the person's facial expressions are, and you're thinking, oh, they don't really like me, or you're thinking there's whatever, they think I'm whatever, not cool enough, not this enough, not pretty enough, not whatever. Okay, let's say if that's what they're thinking about you, that's what you think they're thinking about you, that can very, very much sometimes be true, and sometimes it could be your own projection of how you think that they're thinking about you. But that comes from negative thinking in yourself. Meaning you should never ever really be worried about what other people are thinking about you, ever. Ever. Your only concern is how you think about yourself, how you treat yourself, how you lift yourself up from the gutter, how you're your own best friend, how you have your own back. That's all you should be thinking about. Once you have that as the forefront of your mind, everything else falls into place.
So maybe like some of the things you feel are not always like the other person. It's not always the other person's bad.
It's that you're portraying how you feel about yourself, your own self-esteem and your own self-worth. Because people with self-esteem and self-worth, people can be like, look them up and down and do their whole thing and like, be like, please. They don't care. It's not like, what is she thinking? Is she thinking that I'm weird? Is she thinking that I'm fat? Did I gain 5 pounds over Yontif? No good. Doesn't matter what she thinks. Okay. Cool. How much time do we have? 5 minutes? Till? So, it is 11. So what time do we have till now? We're done? Are we done? Okay, we're done. All right, guys, listen. So this was the reason that, hold on one second. Give me 1 more minute. The reason we had this whole class right now, because it was very, very much a basic foundation to what Tomer Devorah is going to introduce. Tomer Devorah is the highest levels of kindness and mercy that exists in this world. Until I learned this Sefer, I didn't know that these levels of kindness existed. It's all kindness. It's all kindness. It's all kindness. It's all kindness. And when you understand that kindness is the number one medicine, you understand that kindness heals people that have highest levels of autism. Okay? Science understands that kindness is medicine. When you understand that kindness is everything, you understand why Tomer Devorah is so tremendous, because it is medicine to everything. To relationships, to the way we feel about ourselves, to our past, to our traumas, to our trauma bonding, to our trauma wounds, to our future, to everything. It's medicine. It's aloe vera for a burn. So next class, Be'ezrat Hashem, we will start our first chapter. By then, please God, Rebbetzin would have gotten the books, and we can begin. All right, have a great week.